Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia back with another episode. Some big Wrestlemania news and rumors, so let's get ready to dish the dirt. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including two big matches rumored for WrestleMania, Seth Rollins' dream opponent for WrestleMania 37, Jim Ross's Nyla Rose slip-up, Wednesday Night War ratings, and more. Two big matches rumored for WrestleMania 36. The WWE is known for loading up WrestleMania with as many marquee matches as possible, and this year looks to be another star-studded affair, with two potential dream matches being discussed. Keep in mind that things can change overnight, whether it's an unexpected injury, a superstar turning prima donna, or Vinnie Mac flip-flopping. The first match being discussed is a dream match between the phenomenal AJ Styles and the Phenom The Undertaker. WrestleZone informed its readers today that, according to a source speaking with WrestleZone, AJ Styles vs. The Undertaker is currently being planned for WrestleMania 36 in Tampa. Although Styles has been out with an injured shoulder since the Royal Rumble, he's scheduled to compete at Super Showdown later this month. The Undertaker hasn't competed since July's Extreme Rules show and is hopefully training if the WWE intends for the match to happen. While Styles' wrestling skills are far superior to Bill Goldberg, who battled The Undertaker at last year's Super Showdown in one of the most panned matches in recent memory, it would be good to see Taker ready to rumble. The second match being discussed is a potential dream match between John Cena and Goldberg. Cena is scheduled to appear on the 28 February edition of Friday Night SmackDown, which airs the day after Super Showdown. With Bill Goldberg fighting Bray Wyatt in Saudi Arabia for the Universal Championship, might we see a new champion show up on the blue brand? WrestleVote speculated about some possible matchups coming out of the 28 February show. Some smoke around these four superstars and their Mania placements. Nothing definitive, but they could be tied together. How would you like to see it play out? Wyatt vs. Reigns for the title and Cena vs. Goldberg? Or Wyatt vs. Cena for the title and Reigns vs. Goldberg? The heavy favorite to face Wyatt was Roman Reigns, and while that still could happen, what about Cena facing Wyatt for the Universal Championship, or Goldberg should Dollar Bill triumph at Super Showdown? Here's Wrestlemania's take on things. Cena fighting for the Universal Championship would have the drama of the face that runs the place going for his 17th World Championship, breaking Ric Flair's record of 16 World Championships, although as Wrestlelamia has repeatedly pointed out, Flair's record is actually greater. The 16 is the number WWE recognizes. Regardless of whether Cena faces Wyatt or Goldberg, there will be that bit of drama. If Cena faces Goldberg, it'll also have the added spectacle of a dream match between a WCW giant and a WWE icon. Even better, though, is the potential for a Cena vs. Wyatt match for the Universal Championship, as Cena looks to do what no one has done so far: defeat Bray Wyatt. Ideally, this match would serve two purposes. One, putting Wyatt over further with a win over Cena, and two, saving a Roman Reigns vs. Wyatt match for down the road. It would also allow Reigns to battle Goldberg in a dream match in its own right. In a perfect world, the WWE will have Cena challenge The Fiend for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania and pit Roman Reigns against Goldberg there also. Seth Rollins names his WrestleMania 37 opponent. It appears that Seth Rollins wants Hollywood Hulk Hogan in Hollywood for next year's WrestleMania. The Monday Night Messiah didn't hesitate to name his ideal opponent for next year's event, tweeting, "The greatest wrestling company in the world bringing the greatest event of the year to LA in 2021. Hashtag Hollywood Rollins vs. Hollywood Hogan. Book it, brother." As Wrestlelamia has noted of late, the Hulkster has been training for an in-ring return ever since his successful back surgery. While Hogan is not believed to be cleared for action, he's repeatedly said that he'd like to have one more match in the WWE so he can say he ended his career there. While it may be too early for Hogan to return this year, next year may be feasible, as it would give Hogan plenty of time to train for a match. Wednesday Night War Week 20 ratings report. Week 20 of the Wednesday Night War is over and AEW Dynamite prevailed once more over NXT. Despite the win, Dynamite dropped in the ratings while NXT edged up. Here's what the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online's Paul Fontaine noted AEW Dynamite had. An average viewership of 817,000 to NXT's 757,000. However, the Dynamite number was down 12% from last week, while NXT dipped by just 2%. In the 18-49 demo, AEW averaged a .3 rating, down 17% from last week, good for a 10th place finish on cable. NXT was up 9% in the demo, averaging a .24, putting them 21st. We'll have to wait and see whether or not this is a blip on the radar or a sign of NXT staging a comeback. The Black and Gold brand has benefited from more title matches as well as the return of the super popular Velveteen Dream. Will NXT rally on this week's show and momentum from this Sunday's NXT TakeOver Portland? AEW loading up its 19th February episode of Dynamite. There's no argument that AEW is building up to its Revolution pay-per-view with the 19th February edition of Dynamite. The show features 4 big matches, including Kenny Omega and Adam Page defending their AEW World Tag Team Championship against the Lucha Brothers, Jon Moxley versus the Inner Circle's hired gun Jeff Cobb, Cody's Steel Cage match versus Wardlow, and the Tag Team Battle Royal featuring SCU, The Young Bucks, Santana and Ortiz, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, Cena and T-Hawk, Private Party, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, Best Friends, Hybrid 2, and The Butcher and the Blade, with the winner getting an AEW Tag Team title match at Revolution. Adam Cole wants AJ Styles. Should AJ Styles versus The Undertaker not happen at WrestleMania, there's another superstar waiting to battle Styles. Current NXT Heavyweight Champion Adam Cole recently spoke with YouTube channel Flow WWE about wanting to battle the Phenomenal One on the grandest stage of them all. I've wrestled him a couple of times before. He's one of the absolute best I've ever faced before, but I've never beat him. He's a guy that I definitely want a chance to get in the ring with again. To me, when I think of the top 3 performers in the world today, AJ Styles is always on my list. He's just an unbelievably great athlete, and I think we could really have a match, especially on a stage like WrestleMania, so AJ Styles would be my pick. Adam Cole versus AJ Styles would be a technical masterpiece and a great way to elevate NXT. If The Undertaker doesn't fight Styles, the WWE should look into making this happen. Jim Ross discusses AEW ratings. Whether he's calling the action or sharing his wisdom backstage, Jim Ross knows wrestling, having worked in the industry for decades alongside some of the biggest names in the industry. Recently, the WWE Hall of Famer talked to WrestleZone's Dominic D'Angelo about a number of AEW topics, including the promotion's ratings. "I don't care what the ratings do. It's irrelevant to me what the ratings do. That's a good soundbite. I don't care about it because all we can do is work our ass off and provide a great product, or as best as we are being produced to do. That's what we have to worry about, not the other stuff. So I believe if we spend all our time working on how to get us better and improve our team and not worry about anybody else's team because we can't change or affect it." Ratings are important, but at this stage in the game, AEW needs to find what works and build a brand that connects with audiences on a weekly basis and grow the product from there. So far, Dynamite is faring well, and hopefully AEW's second primetime show will continue the trend. JR discusses Sting's WWE run. Good old JR also had some interesting comments about Sting's run in WWE, noting what the promotion did wrong with one of WCW's biggest stars. During a recent edition of his podcast, Grilling JR, Ross observed, "I was underwhelmed by Sting's WWE run. I thought that he should have come in guns blazing and had to give the fans a chance to tap into his passion and emotions. He was a big star. I don't think he was ever given the credit in WWE for being the star that he was. And many speculated it may have been because, the WWE didn't create Sting." It's not uncommon to hear fans criticize the WWE for the way it portrays wrestlers who didn't get their start in the promotion. Sting didn't do much in the WWE other than job to Triple H at WrestleMania and Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. Do you think WWE wanted to make Sting look weak compared to WWE superstars? Be sure to leave your comments below. Jim Ross roasted. Ross's podcast isn't the only place he's been grilled of late. The self-appointed social media watchdogs took to Twitter to criticize JR for some comments he made on the 12th February Dynamite. For example, Ross referred to the newly crowned AEW Women's Champion Nyla Rose as the King of the Mountain, and Ross signed off the show with "See you Monday in Atlanta." When a fan called out JR for what they described as 2 major botches, as well as using the hashtag #TimeToRetire, Ross replied, "Appreciate your timely criticism, Umar. It's called human error. Hopefully, you will never experience such. Since Nyla Rose is a transgender woman, there were complaints that Ross was being insensitive by calling Rose King of the Mountain. One Twitter user came to Ross's defense, tweeting, "I do believe that Jim Ross is a kind of individual who would never intentionally misgender a trans person on national TV. I sincerely hope that it was a simple slip of the tongue which could have been any woman, not particular to Nyla Rose. That would be cruel." Jim Ross answered back, "You're right, sir." There has been some controversy about Nyla Rose winning the AEW Women's Championship, and given the number of trolls online, there have been nasty remarks directed at her. However, it's unlikely Ross's remark was anything but a slip-up, something bound to happen on live television. Jon Moxley files for trademark protection. Heel by Nature is reporting that Jon Moxley is looking to safeguard his intellectual property. According to the site, Jonathan Good, better known as All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling star Jon Moxley, has filed 2 trademarks. Moxley filed trademarks for his wrestling name Jon Moxley, as well as the name Mox. Based on what we've seen of late, the trademark office must be staying busy with wrestlers' trademark applications. Matt Hardy's finances. Is Matt Hardy hurting for money? Not according to Diamond Dave Meltzer, who commented in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that Hardy is financially set for life. The one thing is, with making money and never being used, he gets a lot of time with his family. But he's also a guy at this stage who wants to be creative, and he won't get that on the main roster, and Vince never went for his gimmick even though he gave it a chance. The one thing I could see is sending him to NXT because he's a legit name who would mean something there, and who could work with the younger talent as a way of keeping him. While Hardy could go to NXT, it's hard to imagine him having the same creative freedom as in AEW. Hardy may also see AEW as a bigger audience and NXT as a step down. We'll know soon as Matt's contract expires on 1st March. Jeff Cobb unsigned to AEW or anywhere else. Fans got to see New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor star Jeff Cobb attack Jon Moxley on the 12th February edition of Dynamite. With Cobb scheduled to face Moxley next week, what's Cobb's status in AEW? According to PW Insider, it's still uncertain, as Jeff Cobb is only booked for next Wednesday's Dynamite in Atlanta. His status with Ring of Honor and New Japan remains unchanged. As we reported yesterday, he is not signed to anyone and can work anywhere he wants. This could change depending on how AEW feels about Cobb's performance. The promotion is still hiring talent, but it is in a position where it can be picky with whom it hires. MVP's WWE Future. MVP showed up on Raw again this week, and as we've discussed in past videos, there's been talk of the talented grappler working in WWE as a producer. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter is adding to the rumors as it's reporting MVP is being transitioned into a producer role. The segment on Raw was not necessarily meant to be a regular thing, but he was so good in the role that since he's going to be working for the company most likely, it's something they can use whenever they need it. Well guys, there you have it, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. What do you think about these wild stories? Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.